What is going on, ladies and gentlemen? I am Delusions, and today is a big day for not only myself, but for Atlans 6. As you can notice in the top left of my screen here, I just hit 200 this morning. So that means亗starts tomorrow, which is fantastic because it also falls on a day we get double experience. We've got two different events going on simultaneously right now, so there's a lot of reason for people to play, a lot of reason for people to step back in, claim those daily rewards, take advantage of some of the things that we're offering as a server, and be able to capitalize on it. But some other big things is now I get to proceed with my class change going into my level 600s. Now, of course, I won't be able to complete the class change until after I complete the full week of亗but nonetheless, it also did give me something to do in the time in between, and that is going to be looking at the new soul skill system. So this was introduced in a more recent update, um, but essentially what it does is it brings on a lot of new skills that you can only equip one of them at a time, but there's a lot of passives that go along with this as well. Um, and again, there's still a lot that I need to learn about this, so I will probably circle back around to this and give a more in-depth guide. These are just the ones that I was able to acquire for now, and then as we start getting further and further into this, I'm sure all of this will start to fill up pretty quick. So you will start to gain a lot of these um, soul shards or soul skill shards from Land of Demons when you're going there and you keep seeing these random little drops and you can't seem to find them anywhere. Well, and that's because it only unlocks when you hit level 600, and then everything is stored in this nice little inventory section here. So you've got all of these different things here, and then you can also dismantle those for soulstone dust. And on the topic of soulstone dust, not only did that update bring the soul skill system, but it also brought us a new shop. And in this new shop, we now have access to be able to kind of break down some of those ones that we know that we're probably never going to play with, and we can start utilizing those to collect some of these others that we might want, like the Soulstone of Lightning Bolt, for instance. Uh, this is one that I was able to kind of read a little bit about, but essentially what this is going to do is it's going to shoot an arrow up in the air at targets within 8 meters, and it's going to deal 1200% skill damage, which is massive. And it's going to knock all the enemies around the target that you hit, knock them back for 5 meters. Now, it also does come with its own passive effect, and with that is for every 30% HP lost, you steal 5% HP from a random enemy within 6-meter radius. After you steal HP from them 2 times, it enters its cooldown for 50 seconds, for a little less than a minute. I'm not sure how cooldown reduction is going to work with these skills. I'm assuming that it'll play a part in some factor. But the key thing is when we're talking about how all of these are going to work, there's another big factor that goes into this as well. So not only do we get bombarded with all of this new stuff, which don't get me wrong, it's great. I wish I had more time to play around with it, and that's the reason why I'll be doing a follow-up video. Is in order to activate these skills, you can't just run out and start casting them. So you have to start gaining what they call fury, and I'm assuming that it's going to fill up a certain meter bar or something. Hopefully it's going to be visible to the player to be able to realize, okay, well, I've got this now. I'll go ahead and use this skill, and then we'll see how things go from there. There's just so many unknowns that I need to figure out. But with that being said, let's put that on the back burner for now. Let's jump right into the meat and potatoes of the video and take a look at the level 600 class change. I've already done 2 attempts. I got a little rambunctious a little bit and tried to get a little extra progress going just to see what it's like. But a little backstory is once you hit level 590, I believe, is when you first get access to your first quest of the class change, and that is to collect the elemental core. And what you're going to do with this, you're going to be tasked with going and finding a couple different monsters, and you got to kill 100 each of them. And then once you hit level 200, now you're kind of faced with this big boss that you have to kind of whittle down as much as you can. Now you'll notice that as you start playing through and you get into this stage, that he doesn't function like other bosses do. So he has a damage phase, um, but he also has a shield phase, in which in the shield phase you have to go in and you have to kill um, just a handful of monsters that you'll see here shortly, and then you're able to do damage again. You're able to do 2 damage phases, and then your attempt is done. Um, but within that time, is a good thing to note is this little text prompt here that states, the Elemental King is strong against all damage other than elemental damage. Um, so you increase your elemental damage dealt with your elemental boost. Now, here are the elemental boosts that you will start to acquire. So, Elemental King's Thunder Power. Um, then you get the Ice Defense, and then you get the Spirit of Water. Um, and I'm assuming that based on what all of this says, like elemental damage received by Elemental King increases gradually, I wonder if the elemental armor system that we've been playing around with in some earlier levels, if that's really going to play a huge factor in doing this. If so, all the more reason to grind those out and get those extra daily attempts. But without further ado, let's go ahead and dive off in here and take a quick look at this. So auto on, this is going to be the pretty much break the shield phase. So you've got these Ashen Elementals that you got to go through and kill. And at this point, we're just pretty much just buying time. We're going to take out these enemies. Boss is going to spawn to the north of us. And we are going to dive right in and take a look at that. Alright, here's our boss. And you notice that we've got a timer, 30 seconds. That's how much time we have to do the damage phase. And then we'll be able to circle back, kill more monsters, and then step back in for another damage phase. Alright, so as you can see, we were able to do 15% of that Elemental King's health there, which allows us to go ahead and collect the Elemental King's Ice Defense. So we're going to go ahead and steal that power. Gives us a little bit of a boost there. And that will conclude, all of my attempts for the day. Now, this is going to vary from player to player in regards to how long it's going to take you to kill this boss entirely, and if there's going to be more bosses to come afterwards. So just be mindful that, I am not like all the other players that are on Atlans 6. I have a little bit more power than everybody else does. So that of course means that I do more damage. So just in my eyes, I could see someone getting this done in possibly 2 to 4 days. Just again, it just depends on how much damage that you're doing to the boss. I don't know if it scales to different classes or not. Um, but until I have more information, this is where I'll leave you. But I want to thank you all again for tuning in, supporting the channel, supporting me, and continuing my efforts on to making these videos. But I hope everybody has a fantastic Valentine's Day. And with that, I am Delusions, and I am out. Thanks, guys.